Wake up, everybody, and welcome to kindergarten. We are going to get started. It is 6:30, and as folks come in, that's wonderful. They can join us. We want to start tonight with intention. So if you could move to the next slide, please, Crystal. And acknowledge that we are on the lands and the territory of the Secwepemc people in Secwepemc and acknowledge that they have been the stewards of these lands from time and memoriam and are grateful to all be here with you. So what is the purpose of the evening? Well, we're here for you. We're here to support you and your little people so that when they enter kindergarten, they are set and ready and prepared to be the best that they can be and set that stage for success. A few housekeeping notes just before we get started. We are in webinar format. So what does that mean? For those of you that don't know what that means, it means that you're going to be able to see us and hear us, those of us who are presenting tonight, but we can't see you, or we can't hear you. So you don't need to worry about what you're wearing tonight or what you're doing. We do have a Q&A, which is at the bottom of your screen. So if you kind of hover over that Q&A, I can see there's a few people that have already put some questions in there. We will be able, as the evening goes on, to either answer your questions through the Q&A by typing it. We may be able to respond to it throughout the presentation. You may have your questions already answered. Some of them that were in the Q&A previous to us starting tonight have probably already had some of them answered. There may be some questions that you put in that Q&A that are really specific to your little person and would be best answered one-on-one a little bit later on. So we will have your email, which is the beautiful thing, and we will reach out to you after this presentation in the coming days, probably more like next week, to have those conversations. Please note that the chat has been disabled, so that is not going to be an option. So we just ask that you put your questions in that Q&A, and we will do our best to answer all of them within the next hour or in the coming weeks. We're using virtual technology. We do the best that we can do to try and get all those glitches sorted out prior to starting. But as with any other technology platform, things happen. So we will try and navigate that throughout the next hour. We will be showing some video. The video sometimes runs smoothly and the next time doesn't. It can be a little laggy or a little choppy. That's all I can say to that, but it will be posted on the school district website for you to view at any time, as will this presentation tonight, as well as on the Kamloops CCR Early Year Center Facebook page in the next week or so. So if you wanted to review it then, or if you know of people that have kindergartners about to start in September and they weren't able to be here tonight. So please note that that will be posted there. Next slide, please. So who's talking? My name is Maureen Dahl, and I'm the interim general manager for Community Family Services and Childcare with YMCA-BC Kamloops area. And that is my contact information if you want to reach out. The Kamloops Community Y oversees a lot of early years programs. We have our early years center, our childcare resource and referral that you're going to hear more about. And several other programs, parenting programs and whatnot. So we are more than fitness, and that is why the Y is involved tonight. This has been one of the events that we have been hosting for many, many years. Next slide. The Ready Child Equation. What is this all about? Well, this really is kind of what we're talking about tonight. As you will see, we have the child is at the center there. They're the center of our universe. And we have the family, school, and community equally around that child, all working together, connecting with each other, connecting with family, connecting with the student or the child or the little person to make sure that we really are meeting their best needs. And the more that we can do now together, the more that communication can happen prior to the child entering the school system, the better we will all be prepared to ensure that the the child is having a good time at school, that they're ready for school, they're confident in school, and they can have the greatest success throughout their school education. And that is not lost on me. I am a mom of 3 children. I had a son graduate last year. I have one about to graduate this year, and I have a daughter just about to enter the graduating grade 7 this year. So double grad year for me this year. So really I can speak from the heart and from lived experience that what we set right now can really make a huge difference in the coming years. And with that, I'm going to pass it off to Michelle Rimmer. And she is one of our early years consultants with the Child Care Resource and Referral and the Early Years Center at the Kamloops Y. Off to you, Michelle. Just need to unmute yourself.
See, there's a technology glitch. So thank you so much, Maureen, for the nice warm welcome. I'd like to welcome everyone else. And I'm so excited I get to do this part. Yes, as Maureen says, I work at Child Care Resource and Referral at 150 Wood Street on the North Shore. Let's move on to the next slide. So what does that mean? Child Care Resource and Referral. It means we have a list at our office that has all the different providers through Interior Health and through our registered programs that do before and after school, because we know sometimes schools don't always have before and after school care, but we have a list, and our team at the office would love to help you answer any of your questions. So there's our phone numbers you can see. And next. As well, down at the office, we're able to answer some questions about the Affordable Childcare Benefit. And this is a program that families can access that have a gross yearly income of $111,000. It's an easy website to access. There's application. Our office are happy to do any faxing, any printing, check things over. Again, I really encourage you to check that out and move on next. And as well as we have our ages and stages, which is a great tool for families that are just really curious to see where their children is at and how they can support them. And it's easy to do at home. It's an opportunity to do some celebrations of your children's strengths. It also can give you some new ideas. And we have all those forms out at the office as well. And we would be happy to help you and assist you with that, as well as a lending library that you might be able to take out some materials there as well. Thank you, Crystal. Next. And my pride and joy, the drop-in center, that is located at 150 Wood Street. This is a great opportunity for families to come out and play with their children. We're open Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday from 9 to 11:30. You have access to the lending library. You have a gymnasium. You get to play and just have a lot of fun. So I really encourage you to check that out. And I hope to see you there. Thank you. Next. I would also like to introduce you. And did you even know we have a family navigator here in Kamloops in the Thompson area? And her name is Dee Dee Michaels, and she's a great support for families 0 to 6 that might just need a little bit more help. And I would totally check her details there and give her a call. And thank you, Crystal. Next. Now I'd like to introduce Tanya Rogers, the district principal of early learning and care for Kamloops in the Thompson area. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Tanya Rogers, and I am the new district principal of early learning and childcare. And I'm very excited to be part of this community event and offer everybody a very warm welcome to all the families out there and their children as they begin their kindergarten journey with School District 73. Next. So whether this is your first child or your third child, sometimes entering into kindergarten can be very exciting and a little bit overwhelming. So you are your child's first and most important teacher, and you are joining into a partnership with School District 73. So we all have the same goal. We want to create happy, healthy, successful learners. This video that we're going to show you right now just highlights some of the important aspects of a typical kindergarten day.
All right, go play.
Yes! We play soccer! Look at
With the same pumpkin.
My pencil is bigger than yours.
Colors to make green for your leaves. Oh, sorry, dear.
So the registration process, of course, registration starts Monday and goes for the whole week. There's 3 ways that you can register. You can pick up the registration package from your neighborhood school and return it when it's completed. If you have an older sibling at the school or a neighborhood child that you know who attends the school, you can have it sent home, the package sent home with that student. Or if you are a little bit overwhelmed and want personal attention, by all means, come into the school and talk to the amazing secretaries who will be willing to help you out. Just a reminder that the catchment map for which school your child should be attending is on the School District 73 website under kindergarten registration. Next. There's some important documentation that you have to have in order to register your child for kindergarten. Of course, your child's birth certificate, BC services card, proof of address. The 3 primary ways that we accept for proof of address is a mortgage statement, a rental agreement, or a utility bill like hydro would be a great one. Of course, if there's any custodial issues, please bring any documentation you have for that. The school secretary will create photocopies of all the documentation that is necessary. But if you want to speed up the process, you're more than welcome to bring in your own copies as well. Next. Catchment areas. A lot of times we get asked if your daycare or your preschool might, or your after school care might be closer to where you work, and you want to go attend the school closer to where you work versus the catchment area in where you live. So that is something that you can put a request in. It's called a transfer request after March 1st. There is something that you need to know, though, that is Kamloops is very much a growing district, and schools rarely are able to accept cross-boundary students. And if this happens, it usually does not happen until the end of the first week of September, because we just need to make sure that all the catchment students get into their catchment schools. And then if there's room, then we can look at the possibility of taking transfer students. Transportation is offered for some neighborhoods. If you are unsure if your child qualifies, check out School District 73's website under transportation, or you can call the transportation department directly, 250-372-5853, and as well. Next. This one comes up fairly often during Spark sessions, which will be at your catchment school, probably after spring break sometime. We also get principals and teachers get asked this question also in June and in September. Just please understand that all BC educators are very well-trained professionals who truly take the task of creating equitable learning environments really seriously. So the school staff have a lot of items that they use to determine where children get placed. A lot of the time it's based on the grid that we get from the district, and that creates some restrictions. Plus, in the effort to create equitable classrooms, we try to make sure that diverse learners are in places that create those equitable classrooms for themselves. So just keep that in mind, that placements are hard to make. I'm not going to say you can't ask, but just understand that there are a lot of factors that determine where children are placed when it comes to their classrooms in September. Next. Child safety, number one. There's a lot of research out there that if a child who feels safe and is safe at school will learn better. So obviously that is a top priority, because we want all of our students in our schools to be the best learners that they can be. Some safety items for you to be aware of that are pretty standard at all schools is, number one is arriving safely. I strongly recommend, there's not enough parking spots in any elementary school that I've ever been to, and I've been to a lot. So please make sure you park in approved areas. Avoid U-turning in front of the school. Just arrive early so that you get a great spot and your child can get to school safely. Allergy alerts, of course, are another important item that everybody in the school needs to know about. So if your child has significant allergies, please make sure that you let people know right away. Communicate with your child's teacher if there is a change to their typical regular routines. For instance, if grandma's picking up the child after school instead of mom who usually does, or dad who usually does, just make sure the teacher is aware, because we don't want to, we wouldn't send children off with anybody that we don't have permission to send your child off with. Stay home. Staying home if your child is sick is so important. Washing hands, get your child to practice washing their hands, practice coughing into their elbows and sneezing into their elbows, and then washing their hands again. That's a safety item for everybody at the school. The last one I'm going to mention here is making sure your child is always dressed for outside every day. Please leave, and I have seen this. I was a kindergarten teacher for a number of years. Please make sure that the dress up high heels stay at home and flip-flops stay at home. We need our kids in proper footwear so that they can make it through the day safely. Next. Connecting with other parents. Is this your first time with a child in the school system? Family engagement is really important, and there are many, many ways to become involved, but your number one way to make connection and to get involved is through your parent advisory council at your school. So make sure you get in there. It's a great place for you to have voice. You can help with hot lunch. You can attend the meetings, and it's a great way to make connections with other parents and also to be that engaged parent at your child's school. Next. I would like to introduce Marianne Vandepal, who is the district early years coordinator, and she is amazing at what she does, and you'll see her passion for everything early learning as well.
Thank you. So I'm Marianne Vandepal, District Early Years Coordinator. But more importantly for this section, I have been a kindergarten teacher for 25 years in the school district. And so this section is really going to talk about that kindergarten skills. I get a lot of questions about whether my child should start kindergarten, they're a December baby. What are we looking for from childcare workers and all those beautiful ECEs that partner with us? They really want to know what kindergarten skills we value and what we find are extremely important for the school system. So I'm going to go through that next. So next, the very first thing that kindergarten teachers want, I promise you, is an enthusiasm towards learning. I'm telling you right now, if you are excited about kindergarten, your child's excited about kindergarten. If you are excited about learning, your child's excited about learning. So that enthusiasm towards learning is so important. Help your child explore and discover, encourage them to ask questions, and give them the gift of struggling just a little bit when things get difficult. Don't make it too easy for them. Next. The next thing we really want to stress is kindergarten teachers really want you to practice oral language skills. And when I say that, I mean, talk about books, give them words to describe their feelings, talk about what they're doing throughout the day. And did you know that just reading a book with them gives them 50% more vocabulary than watching a TV? So helping us with that would be fantastic. Next. And then the ability to listen. And I know as adults, we have a hard time with that, let alone as a child. So I give everyone some grace on this, but ability to listen is super keen and key to success in kindergarten. So reading out loud again with your child in comfortable settings, playing games, rhyming, doing their beginning sounds, have their child retell a story after you've told them that story. Those listening skills are so important. Next. A desire to be independent. We're not saying perfect independence. We're saying a desire to be independent. So don't do for your child what they can do for themselves. Let them try it. And I know that takes time sometimes, but that's okay. If you have any block of time where you can allow them to do it for themselves, that would be great. Give them simple directions, maybe 1 or 2 steps at a time. Encourage them and applaud them in their efforts to take care of themselves. And remember to practice those self-help skills. So independently using the bathroom, washing their hands, zipping and buttoning coats, blowing their own nose, and keeping track of their own possessions. Doesn't mean they need to be perfect at it. Just help us with practice. Next. Ability to play well with others. We know conflict's going to happen. We don't always agree with everybody and everything, but help them use their words to express their feelings and their needs, and support them with their friends to resolve conflict, and talk about how others might feel, that empathy piece. So setting up play dates now is a fantastic idea. Going to social groups, playing with each other is really key. Next. Motor skills, fine motor skills in particular, exercising those hands. Encourage them to build strength and coordination in their hands. They're going to do a ton of work in school with their hands. Give them opportunities to use scissors. I know, scary. Don't worry. Just let them practice those scissors. Writing tools, all kinds of writing tools, even paintbrushes and things like that. And next, if you've done all that, and you played, you've already done everything we need. But if you're going to continue on. Next, it's those basic letter and number recognition. Notice it's at the end of the list. We did that on purpose. Make sure this is the funnest part of your everyday life. No drilling. We don't require you to drill and practice. We don't require you to know all your ABCs and 1, 2, 3s before you start kindergarten. You can talk about the letters, talk about letters you see in signs, in menus, at the grocery store, all those things. Help them write their name if they're ready to do it. Anything personal, anything about themselves is fantastic. And then even discover the rest of the letters in their names. That's a great idea to do. Next. I really need to remind you about gradual entry as well as a kindergarten teacher. Remember, you're not going to start kindergarten on the very first day of school full-time. We have a gradual entry process. Your family is going to be contacted by your school to set up about a 15 to 20-minute interview. That will be your first time, your first session in September. This letter could come as early as July. Some schools will send it in July, but more than likely that letter won't happen until August. So don't panic. Don't panic at all. It will come, I promise. If not, contact the school. They'll let you know. Your child will then come after that interview, possibly for half days, sometimes morning, sometimes afternoon. Then the next time again, mornings, afternoon, half days. Continually gradually getting longer and longer in time. And then by the following Wednesday in September, your child should be full-time in school if all goes well. And that being said, it can always be adjusted if your child needs more time and you need more time for gradual entry. We absolutely can accommodate that. Next. Now, Maureen talked earlier about that ready child equation. And a piece of that work is to ensure that schools are just as ready for your child as your child is. This is why we want you to want to meet you well in advance of starting school. All schools are going to be hosting events come spring. There are Spark events. It could be 1, it could be 2, it could be up to 4 or 5 times even. Some of them might be in person. You could still get a Zoom invite. Definitely some video tours have been out there as well. But during those sessions, it's time to meet you and get a beautiful welcome package. Also, don't forget to check out our Strong, Prepared, and Ready for Kindergarten Facebook page. It has useful information and links to all the resources you're going to be receiving in your welcome packages from every school. And if you haven't already checked out, we also have 7 Strong Starts in the district. They are a parent participation early learning free, absolutely free program. But you do need to contact the schools, and you'll get a list of those schools right off the school district website if you type in Strong Start. Next. Now, the school district knows it can't do this by itself, and we need the support of our community with us. And what the school district values most is those partnerships. So the resources in Kamloops, Thompson area are incredible for early years. And the school district partnerships with these agencies allows for much more seamless transition to kindergarten. Communication and relationships are the key. So if you go to any one of these agencies, the websites, you'll find a ton of programming, a ton of free resources for you to access, whether it's even for you or your child, it doesn't matter. So now I'm going to introduce Trudy Nielsen, the school district Aboriginal primary resource teacher, to elaborate on all our Indigenous programming and services that support all our learners in Kamloops. Thank you.
Limlimt, Marianne. My name is Trudy Nielsen, and I am the Aboriginal education resource teacher for the elementary grades for SD 73. I am a member of the Okanagan Nation, Okanagan Indian Band, and I would just like to share a little bit about Aboriginal education in our school district. I have been in this position for over 5 years. I was a kindergarten teacher for 11 years prior to this. And so I have seen a lot of amazing changes happen over the years as far as Aboriginal education is concerned. And so I've done this Roundup 5 times now. And so this year I decided to put in a few new bits of information that I'm really excited to share with families. So first slide, please. So I'm happy to share this because this is called Standard 9. This is basically a mandate that was put out by the British Columbia Teachers Council that is a standard for teachers, educators in this province, that we are required to teach First Nations, Inuit, Métis perspectives, traditions, histories, and our commitment to reconciliation within this province. So this is something that all teachers are required to do. So basically what it means is that every subject area across every grade has First Nations perspectives in the curriculum, and they will be implemented in the classroom, you know, on a daily, weekly basis. So you can expect your children to be learning what reconciliation is and understanding the history of Indigenous peoples in Canada. Thank you. Next slide. I'm really excited about this because this is our district's, here's a little tongue twister, district strategic plan. Say that a few times quickly. It was introduced at the beginning of this year, but it was worked on throughout the year last year with over 2,000 people had a say in developing this. But the Aboriginal Education Council was consulted on this a great deal. And so our strategic plan is based on these value commitments, and it is the 7 grandfather teachings, but we have adapted it to be in line with the Secwepemc values. And so you'll see the animals are a little bit different, but I would encourage you to go on the district website and to check out our new district strategic plan. And there is a breakdown of what all the animals represent and what our values are, and just what this whole representation means and is all about. So there's actually a little video that we will include in the comments section if you go back and rewatch this video. Also this is the Indigenous Cultural Safety and Humility Competency Guide, which my boss put together, the district Aboriginal principal. And this is just a really helpful guide for teachers who are not 100% sure about some of the things that may be in the curriculum. And it's just a really helpful way for educators who are sometimes learning along with students about First Nations, Inuit, Métis perspectives and cultures and histories, and how to do it respectfully without appropriation and that kind of thing. So this is another exciting thing that we have that was put together by our district. So something I'm happy and proud about. Go ahead. And every school has an Aboriginal education worker. We have 38 Aboriginal education workers in our school district. They are there for academic support, social emotional support. They will help you with referrals if you need them. And yeah, so they are just in the schools, in the classrooms, there for families, there for students. And I would encourage you, if you are First Nations family, to meet your Aboriginal education worker right away. Quickly, one more thing. Beyond the Aboriginal education workers, every school also has an Aboriginal team lead leadership group. So it's not just the weight that is put on the Aboriginal education worker, but there is a team in every school that is supporting Aboriginal education, as well as every teacher. Go ahead. And Aboriginal social groups, we have these start actually in the intermediate grades, but they will be available to First Nations students from grade 4 on. So boys groups and girls groups. It's, as you see, awareness of cultural identity, self-esteem building, and they're really meaningful groups for these students every week. Okay. And cultural activities, so includes visits from elders. Every school has connection to elders now. We have a lot of, we have Bernice Jensen works with the Friendship Society, and she does district-wide cultural presentations, as well as Jackie Jules from the Chiquot Museum. She's going in and helping teachers present history and culture. And as I said, teachers are becoming more and more adept at teaching these things as well. So it's an exciting time. Carry on. And most schools also have, well, they all have parent engagement. We would really like to see our First Nations, Aboriginal, Inuit, Métis parents coming into the schools and seeing all the wonderful changes and just getting involved in the school, in their child's classroom. And we have often at least one community feast at the school through the year, as well as other opportunities for parents to come and get involved in the school. Go ahead. And I would like to introduce Lisa Hyam, Education. Thank you.
Thanks, Trudy. Good evening, everybody, and thanks again for joining us. My name is Lisa Hyam, and I'm the District Coordinator for Inclusive Education Services in School District 73. My role is to collaborate with schools and staff to ensure that support for students with exceptionalities is effective in meeting their needs and to assist in planning for meaningful inclusion. So if you have a child entering kindergarten this upcoming September who might have some additional needs, rest assured that we have some supports to help with this big transition. Next. In School District 73, we appreciate and really value the fact that students coming into kindergarten are diverse and unique. It's really quite exciting to walk into a kindergarten class and see all of the strengths and interests that students bring with them to school. We follow an inclusive model where we welcome all students, and we strive to develop individualized supports that allow each student to reach their own potential. Kindergarten is a time to socialize, play, inquire, problem solve, and learn routines and expectations of school. It's also a bit of a delicate dance as we want students to receive enough support and the right types of support, but we still want to honor their journey towards independence as they grow and develop. Next. The transition into kindergarten is an important event in your child's life. One of the ways that we support children, their families, and the school teams is by hosting kindergarten planning meetings. These meetings will occur in March, April, May, and June once we receive registrations. So when you register your child at school, if they have some additional support needs coming into kindergarten, please fill out an additional form. It's called the Kindergarten Support Services Planning and Consent Form. And on this form, you can identify the kinds of things that they might need extra support with. Then once we receive these forms and the registration forms from the school, depending on your child's unique needs, we will set up a kindergarten planning meeting. This might, it will involve your family, the school, and any community agencies currently involved with your child. It might also involve some of our inclusive education services staff. We have a fantastic department who has a lot of expertise in different areas. And so if your child has some very specific needs, we will loop in some of our professionals within our department to help us develop a plan. With these kindergarten planning meetings, we're going to develop an action plan that's going to support your child in this upcoming transition. That's the goal of these meetings. Next. Some of our students with exceptionalities entering kindergarten may qualify for what we would call a Ministry of Education special education designation. And this allows the school teams to develop a competency-based inclusive education plan. And this allows us to develop individualized goals to support your child using specific strategies. Parents are always highly, highly encouraged to be a part of this process. Next. Whether or not your child has a special education designation or not, we do have a few tips for all parents to support their child through their entire school journey. So the first one, have ongoing communication with your child's classroom teacher. We strive to work as a team with parents, and communication allows everybody to stay informed about what's going on. Number 2, attend and participate in meetings. You know your child the best, and we really value parent input, insight, and advocacy. And the third one, keep copies of documents such as assessments or reports, and please share them with the school team. Again, it helps us to support your child the best that we can. Next. For those of you who would like to learn more about competency-based IEPs, we're going to have a parent engagement session on March 8th from 6 to 7 p.m. over Zoom. It will be myself and our district principal, her name is Deanna Brady, and we'll be running this session. And it'll allow us to get into a few more details about the CB IEP process and what this might look like for your child. It says on here the link's available. It's not up on the website yet. So if you are interested in attending, please check back maybe next week once we have it posted, and we would love for you to register and join us on this evening. If you have specific questions about your individual child, you can reach out to the principal at your child's new school, or feel free to contact me as well, either by phone or by email. My contact information was at the beginning of my slide. Thank you.
And that brings us to a close on the presentation piece. We are answering questions in the Q&A box as we speak. So a lot of them have already been answered live. So there isn't any to talk about at the moment, but please, this is your opportunity. If you have any questions for the team, please start popping them into the Q&A box, and we'll try and get to them as we can. So I'll give you a moment to do that. So we had some great questions about registering children that have some inclusive needs, like is there a speech problem or an allergy problem or anything like that. It is extremely important that when you do register, that you fill out all that paperwork. There will be a question, right? The secretary will give you with all the paperwork about indicating whether your child needs extra supports in any medical issue or physical issue or anything like that. So please indicate as much as possible. Give us as much information as we can at all times. Please, please, please. Oh, the new Parkrest School. That is always a great question. We do have Grant Riley on the call right now. He is our assistant our assistant superintendent of elementary education and childcare. And so Grant, absolutely, please pop on here and talk about Parkrest if you can.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Marianne. I just answered it in the chat too. So basically it's on schedule to be finished, the new Parkrest Elementary to be finished in 2024. We don't have a precise date for the opening as of yet, but that's where we're at right now. So 2024, but don't know the exact precise opening. So it won't be ready for next school year.
Great question about potty training for kids. We love it if kids are potty trained. It is never exclusion. Elisa, can you answer a little bit more? I know you're typing at the moment, but if you orally answer that would be fantastic for those that are listening.
Sure, for sure. I was just typing there. Yeah, so of course, if your child is potty trained, that's fantastic. It helps with the independence at school. However, if your child does have some additional support needs for toileting, if you could let us know about this and fill out that extra form that I mentioned in my presentation. When you fill out the school registration form, we have another form called the Kindergarten Support Services Planning and Consent Form. And on there, you can indicate that your child has specific needs such as toileting, and it just helps us to figure out a plan for September so that we can be prepared for your child and vice versa. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you, Lisa. There was a question about, you're absolutely correct. We don't start kindergarten kids full-time on the very first day of school, like from grades 1 and up. They come in on a gradual entry. And so what does that look like? It looks different in every school depending on their gradual entry. In theory, it should look like an interview first. You will be called in for an interview, a one-on-one with the kindergarten teacher, usually around the could be anywhere from 10 minutes to 20 minutes. After that initial meet, you'll be given a schedule prior to, regardless, because you need to make childcare arrangements and everything else. You will be asked to come in for a couple hours to half of the day, and gradually increasing the time along that first week into the second week. And then by that following Wednesday, you should be starting full time by that following Wednesday of the second week of school. So that being said, if you need more time after that, we will slow and steady wins the race. So we take that as it comes. Tanya, would you like to answer the question about school start and end times? I know it kind of looks different a little bit across the district, but I'll give you that question.
Sure, it does depend on your catchment school. The school I was at previously, we had an 8:25 welcoming bell, an 8:30 start time, and then we dismissed at 2:41. So it really is different, and you will find strange numbers like that. Like lunch, I believe, went from 12:07 till 1:07. So there are some interesting factors in that, but when you go register your child, they will have a bell schedule, or they can tell you the bell schedule, because it is really unique to each school.
Thank you, Tanya. Curious on steps taken with bus transportation. Great question. Does a teacher meet the younger kids at the bus? Tanya, I'll give you that one as well. I know that also depends on the school. So
again, the school I was just at had quite a few buses that were part of it, and there isn't a teacher that meets the younger children at the bus. There is often a support staff member who is outside on supervision when the buses arrive, or an administrator. There is usually somebody out there in the bus area, but not necessarily right at the bus. So if it is a concern, if there's not an older sibling or older neighbor that can help your child transition from the bus to their outside classroom door, please again make sure that when you're talking with the kindergarten teacher, when you meet them, that they are aware that you have concerns about this. And we usually, for like about a week, will often put some supports in place so the child can arrive safely at their classroom door. Usually they just follow all the older kids and they arrive safely because they know where they need to go and they want to get there to meet their friends. So.
Thank you. There was a question about interviewing, those interviews with the school before starting kindergarten. Does this interview take place after school starts or in September or before? That's a great question. All of the above. It could happen before school starts. It could happen this spring, depending on whether or not you feel your child has extra special needs, and you might want to set up an appointment to have an interview at that school sooner than later. So schools are always open to parents with a phone call first, obviously, to the principal, and those discussions can take place. But the actual kindergarten welcome interview with the kindergarten teacher is during that very first week when all the grades 1 to 7 are in school. That's that time for those kindergarten teachers to set up interview times. So that can take place right in September. But again, there's always a possibility for before. If you feel the need to, please make sure you give your school a call, and they will try and make arrangements for you.
Marianne, do you want me to take the one about before and after school care at school?
Absolutely, please do.
Okay. So this question has come up a couple of times, and I get emails about them and phone calls regularly about it. So I know we fall under the umbrella of childcare, but this is a work in progress. So in Kamloops, we're very much a growing district. So one of the biggest obstacles that we are facing when we're trying to create possible childcare in schools is space. Most of the schools inside the city of Kamloops just do not have the space to accommodate after school programming at this point in time, but we are looking into it, and something that is definitely a priority item. It's also why we're doing this in community tonight, because we work with our community partners to try to figure out where the greatest areas of needs are and how we can support that. So it's not a simple answer, and I'm sorry I don't have a better answer than that. As you know, or you may have heard, there are new childcares coming to Happy Vale's elementary site and Ralph Bell's sites. Ideally, we hope that is starting in September 2023. That is for infant, toddler, and 3 to 5-year-olds, though. That doesn't include after-school care. So as a community, we are well aware that this is an ongoing concern and issue. And so there's just not a plan in place yet, but we are definitely aware of it, and we're trying our best to see what we can do as a group of partners working on childcare together in the community. So not a really clear answer, but we are not there yet in being able to provide before and after school care as a district.
Thank you. Is there online options to communicate with teachers? Absolutely. There's online ways to communicate with teachers. We have internal programs, we have external programs. Your teacher is going to set something up beautifully, even paper. There's so many newsletters that go home, but absolutely the school district has a lot of ways to communicate with you, as well as direct lines for pickups and learning updates and all kinds of things. And you will get all of those resources when you enroll in your school. You will get all those. There are some incredible apps out there, absolutely. Some approved by school districts, some not. So it is an internal thing that usually happens. But yes, there will be tons of ways for you to connect with and find out all their learnings and get all kinds of updates from your teacher. They are eager to do that for sure. I know Lisa is typing away, but do we have enough support workers to help with toileting? Absolutely, we do. We certainly do. Of course we do. That is a priority for us too, to ensure that your child feels comfortable at school and is assisted in any way, shape, or form.
Marianne, I can answer the next one around Pine View, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So the question around catchment changes in 2 years when the new school in Pineview is open. So if we have a catchment change for any new school or any catchment change whatsoever, we always have the option for folks to, especially folks that are maybe kids in grade 6, to actually stay at their current school or to go back into the new catchment. So for your situation, Amy, you would have the option of having your 2 children together in that case, and they wouldn't have one student going to one school and your youngest going to a different school.
So that's a great question, Jess. So we tend with our child for the first few weeks until no. So your job is to definitely come to the interview. When your child does come for the gradual entry of the 1 hour to 2 hours to half a day to there as a full drop off at that point. You do not attend during those pieces. It is the opportunity to be away from you, away from parents, learn that routine. The only one we require you for is in this spring to do our Spark sessions. Your child is still underage. We're not licensed for you to do a full drop off coming this spring for all your Spark sessions. So that is absolutely parent participation and really important anyways. You're going to ask tons of questions during that time and get some answers, get to talk to the kindergarten teacher, get to talk to the principal, all those people that are going to be in your child's life. So super important you attend. Come September, the gradual entry, the very first one, the interview, you should be there with your child. It's such a short time. It's 10 to 15 minutes. It's not about the drop off there. Plus that teacher is going to want to ask you questions as well during that time. After that though, it is drop off. It is you go away and that child is just in that classroom with the teacher and their friends during that time. When is the registration package due back at school? ASAP. ASAP, no, we really would like it as soon as possible because we need to know numbers. We need to get to know your child. We need to know if there's any needs or concerns. So definitely the very latest by June, but honestly, as quickly as you can get it in, the better off we are to better prepare for your child. We need to know numbers. We need to know how many kindergarten teachers to hire. And we don't know that if you don't register and the number of children aren't there in June. We won't know in September how many classrooms we need, what supplies we need, all those things. So the better off, you're way better off to put those packages in as soon as possible. What if you're childcare and there's a different catchment? For sure. Tanya had mentioned this for sure. Tanya, you want to speak to that again, just as a quick?
Yes, I was trying to type, but I'm not that fast of a typer. You need to apply to your catchment school first. After March 1st, you can go to your catchment school and ask for a transfer form, which you would then fill in, and you would take it down to the school that is closest to your childcare site. But again, with our growing district, taking what we call transfer students at a school usually doesn't happen until the end of the first week of September. And sometimes you won't know until the end of September. Just because our schools are growing so fast within the city of Kamloops, catchment kids have to go to catchment schools, and it rarely happens, but it can happen when we can accept transfer requests, but that happens not until September.
Thank you. Grant, I'm going to ask you to answer about the birth certificate. We actually have a lot of international families. It's a great question. And what do we do if we don't have a birth certificate because of that and we just have certificates of citizenship? What can they provide to the school district?
Thanks, Marianne. So regardless of whether the child was born in Canada or elsewhere, we still need proof of age and proof of birth. So there would still need to be documentation that has some proof of that age and that birth. So we have lots of people that come from outside of Canada and they bring in their specific birth certificates from those countries.
Sounds great. As well as I know the schools, and I'm even myself have helped families apply online. It's really quick actually to apply for that birth certificate to come in the mail. Doesn't mean we're going to deny access to your child to school. We'll wait for that birth certificate in the mail and try and get it in as quickly as possible. So we'll help you out with that too. I know some secretaries are really easy, can do that fast as well. So let us know if you have any issues whatsoever getting a birth certificate or something that shows the birth date. Yes, so Spark sessions are absolutely different than the meetings for extra support is needed. So what's nice about Spark sessions is we're getting your child in this spring, and therefore we can see the needs that your child may need during kindergarten. We can ask for our support team to attend those sessions to provide supports. Any of your outside teams too, if you have outside OT, outside speech therapists, outside PT, outside agencies that help you, they are absolutely welcome to come to those Spark sessions as well inside those kindergarten classrooms, a whole early time in advance here. And we will try and make sure that that really helps with making this transition easy. It's the best way to actually get to know you and your child and have one-on-one discussions with what is needed during those sessions. Spark sessions are held in the afternoons or in the early evenings, so after the school day, so your kindergarten teacher can participate in them. You want to meet your kindergarten teacher, and during the day, a lot of your kindergarten teachers are busy with the kindergarten students right now, and so it's really nice. A lot of Spark sessions will happen after school hours into the early afternoon or later afternoon and evening to allow for your kindergarten teacher to attend. Typical kindergarten class, what's the rough ratio? That's a great question. Tanya, you want to answer that one?
So the ratio for in kindergarten is 20. 20 is the maximum size that you can have for a straight kindergarten class. And for a K1, it is also 20. And that is a strong, strict cap for kindergarten. So that's the class size, and it depends on your school, because sometimes you can have 15 in a class, sometimes you have 18, sometimes you have 20. It all depends on the school and the number of kindergarten students who are registered. But again, that's why it's really important to register your children as soon as possible so that schools can plan accordingly ahead of time.
There is not a nap time in kindergarten. There is absolutely quiet time and restful time and things like that that get incorporated into kindergarten day, but there is not a nap time where children get to lie down and actually go to sleep in kindergarten.
Having said that, Marianne, you and I both know that some children will just have a nap no matter what. So if a child has fallen asleep in the middle of a kindergarten, often we cover them up with their jackets and let them have that rest time. But yeah, there is not a standard nap time.
Registering for Spark sessions. You know what's so cool about that is that as soon as you register at your school, you are registered for your Spark sessions, just like that. So go register at your school, bring all your paperwork in, and your school will contact you ASAP on when all your Spark sessions are. It's just part of it. It's just part of what they do. So you don't have to necessarily do a separate registration. Some schools will ask for a separate, just so they know numbers, just so they know how many am I going to show up today. We have special guests. We need to prepare some food or some meals or different things like that. But the minute you register at your school is the minute you're going to know about your Spark sessions and what is required of you. And it will be in that school office for sure.
I'll jump in and answer the one about the difference between kindergarten and K1.
Please do.
A K1, obviously kindergarten is a straight kindergarten class. They are all coming in, it's their first step into school. A kindergarten grade 1 split class means that there are going to be some kindergarten students and some grade 1 students. Just so you're aware, it can happen at any elementary school to have this split. It is a common split that you can see. There are benefits to it as well. So make sure if you know of a K1, talk to the kindergarten teachers at a Spark session to find out if that's something that might be good for your child.
And the simple answer is there's nothing different, because those kindergarten and kindergarten grade 1 teachers are masters in skills at play-based learning, no matter what. And so will your child be in grade 1? There is a lot more reading, but that doesn't mean in kindergarten your child won't be exposed to books and reading as well. Those K1 classrooms will have the same opportunities as straight kindergarten classrooms as well. So hopefully there's not a whole lot of difference, so to speak. Lunch programs at school. Some schools definitely have lunch programs that you can purchase, and your entire meal for the month is absolutely paid for. And some schools do not have lunch programs, and you pack a lunch for them. So it just depends on which school you are attending. A lot of PACs, your parent advisory groups are the ones that lead that. And you will know when you register whether or not your child will have a lunch program at their school or not. You can bring younger siblings to the Spark sessions, but that being said, if you can at any time just come with your kindergarten child, that would be amazing, because it's that one-on-one time. You're going to be participating in hands-on play-based activities with your kindergarten teacher or with whomever's leading it. And so that one-on-one attention with your child, it makes it really special. It makes it really exciting for them to come to. It's that enthusiasm of learning without any distractions. That's ideal. We really, really, really highly advise that you try to not bring siblings. That being said, we understand, and we'd rather have you there than not there. So if you need to bring siblings, please do. There is no restriction on that for sure. Joining PAC, great question. Tanya, you want to answer about joining PAC?
I will. The moment you register your child, you belong to PAC. Every single parent legal guardian automatically are members of PAC the moment you register your child. To formally take an active part in PAC, Often there's PAC representatives at a Spark session, or there's information that will be in your registration. But if there isn't, just call the school and find out the PAC chairperson's contact information. They'll be excited. Oh, I can tell you from experience, PACs are so excited when kindergarten parents and guardians want to join, because it's so nice to have that influx of new families involved and being passionate about the school that the PAC is supporting. So.
Amazing. I think we are going to wrap up the question period. We're past our end time a little bit here. So if you do have, we'll stay on a little bit more. If you want to put any more questions in there, you feel free to do so, and we'll try and answer them by email if need be. But we want to thank you so much for attending tonight. We're really excited to see your kids and have your kids and be part of this family. And please reach out to your schools. And reminder, registration starts next week. Is it next week already? Or is it the week after? Yeah, it is next week already. Neighborhood schools start next week already. So starting Monday is when you can go into your school, pick up that paperwork, or go on the school district website, print it off, pre-register, pre-fill it out. But please make a time to go to your school to register starting next week. Thank you, everyone.